Hey everyone, my name is Tori, and today I'm going to be doing a review swatch comparison of two very similar products. And the first one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nicole Guerriero Glow Kit collaboration and the new Colourpop highlighter palette called Gimme More. So just right away when you open up the palettes, they look very, very similar. Each palette seems to have a sister color in the other palette. So I thought it'd be fun to swatch them side by side and see how similar they really are in terms of color. Just right off the bat, the packaging is pretty similar. They both have this kind of cardboard magnetic closure to them. Neither one of them have a mirror. For a size comparison, the ABH palette is a little bit bigger. If you look side to side, they're about the same thickness though. The Anastasia palette comes with a little protective sleeve that looks exactly like the palette itself. You can just slip it right in. You can keep it that way. Some people don't keep the sleeve. I do though for these glow kits. I like to keep them nice. The Colourpop palette came in this little box. I probably won't be keeping it in this box and I'll just keep it like this. As far as pricing is concerned, the Anastasia palette is $40. The Colourpop palette is $18. The Anastasia palette has 0.96 ounces of product. The Colourpop palette has 0.78 ounces of product. The Anastasia palette is no longer available, at least to my knowledge. The Colourpop palette is still available. It's still relatively new. It came out with a couple other summer, fall launches that they had. It is currently sold out online when I checked today, but I was able to purchase this palette about 2 weeks ago. So let's go ahead and get into some color comparisons. So the first colors I'm going to compare are Anastasia Daydream, which is this orange color right up here. And its kind of sister color in the Colourpop palette is this orange color as well, and it's called Bottomless. So this on the bottom is Bottomless, and above that is Daydream. Just looking at it in the swatch, Bottomless has a little more of a golden peach orange tone to it, whereas Daydream has a little more of a peachy orange. You can kind of tell the difference there. I'd say the Anastasia palette is slightly more reflective in this color. You can definitely see chunks of glitter in the Anastasia color, whereas in the Colourpop color, there's no glitter. The next color I'm going to take from the ABH palette is the Forever Young color. I'm going to compare it to the Colourpop palette of this one right here, and it's in the shade Upgrade. This top color is from the ABH palette, and that's the color Forever Young. This bottom color is from the Colourpop palette, and that's in the color Upgrade. Upgrade has a little more of a whitish, almost iridescent, undertone to it, whereas the Forever Young color in the ABH palette definitely has more of a champagne pinky peach undertone. I would say this one's, the ABH color is slightly warmer than the Colourpop sister color. The ABH color, there are chunks of glitter, and the Colourpop palette, again, there is not. The next color I'll be comparing is Kitty Cat. It's this top pink color right here. I'll be comparing that color to the Colourpop palette, this color here, which is in the shade Full Service. The top color is the Anastasia palette in Kitty Cat. The color right underneath it, that's the Colourpop color in the shade Full Service. The ABH palette, again, has chunks of glitter in it, whereas the Colourpop palette does not in this color. The Kitty Cat color in ABH is definitely a lot pinker, very much more metallic. The Full Service color in the Colourpop palette has a slightly warmer peachy golden undertone that I actually didn't really expect. The next color I'll be comparing from the ABH palette, I'll be taking the color Forever Lit and comparing that to the color Extra in the Colourpop palette. On top is the ABH Forever Lit. Right underneath that is the Colourpop in the shade Extra. Now you can definitely see the difference between these two. In the pan, they look like they'll be a white highlight. The Forever Lit color has a blue shift to it, and the Colourpop color has a golden, almost peachy orange, but mostly yellow gold shift to it. Again, the ABH palette has glitter, not as much in the Forever Lit color as some of the other shades, but the Colourpop palette does not have any glitter in this color as well. The next color I'll be comparing from the ABH palette is the shade Glow Getter. I will be comparing that color to the shade Bigger and Better in the Colourpop palette. This top one here is from the ABH palette in Glow Getter. This bottom shade right below it is from the Colourpop palette in the shade Bigger and Better. These colors are fairly similar. The Glow Getter color from ABH is slightly more golden, a little more metallic-y bronze, whereas the Colourpop color looks like it has slightly more of a champagne undertone and not as bronze. When you look at them side by side, you can definitely tell there's a difference in their reflective metallic qualities as well. The last shade I will be comparing in the ABH Glow Kit is the shade 143, and I will be comparing that to the shade Total Package from the Colourpop palette. So these last two colors aren't very similar when you swatch them side by side. So the bottom shade here is in the shade 143 from the Anastasia palette, and the one right on top of that is from the Colourpop palette in the shade Total Package. These colors definitely are not dupes for each other by any means. They are both darker highlights, but the Colourpop shade is definitely more of a pinky mauve, and the 143 shade definitely has more of a bronze golden undertone. Again, the ABH shade has more glitter, whereas the Colourpop shade does not. So overall, both palettes are really, really pretty. As far as formula is concerned, both formulas seem to be very soft, very creamy. But the Anastasia formula, the shades definitely have glitter. They have glitter chunks in it, whereas the Colourpop shades do not. The Anastasia shades are more pigmented and more metallic and reflective, whereas the Colourpop shades, you have to build them up to kind of match that metallic reflectiveness of Anastasia's shades. However, I am not a fan of highlighters that have glitter in them. While I think this is a beautiful palette, I do use it. It's just really difficult for me to use it because I always end up with glitter all the way across my face. And I've seen a lot of reviews of people saying that there is no glitter in this palette, and I mean, you can see the chunks of glitter just looking at it. So I don't know if I see something that other people don't, or if I'm just completely applying this all wrong. But I've tried applying it with different types of brushes. I've tried applying it wet. I've tried applying it dry. I always end up with glitter across my face. However, the highlight is beautiful. My personal favorite shade in this kit is Forever Young. It comes off as kind of, it almost looks like it's going to be taupe, but it reads a little more champagne on the face. These colors are beautiful. This is a great kit. I would caution you though, it's very easy to go overboard with these highlights, but if you're into really super reflective, metallic, blinding highlight, this is totally for you. But I would caution, there is a lot of glitter in it. The Colourpop palette is still fairly new to me. I haven't had it that long, so I feel like I haven't gotten to play around with it as much as the Nicole one, because the Nicole Guerriero palette has been in my collection for a while since it came out. But what I can say about this palette is it is really nice, especially for the price. I don't know if I would call them dupes. I mean, holding them side by side, they look like they're going to be almost exactly the same thing, but swatching them out, there's so many subtle undertones that are different in almost every shade. I can't even really say that there are two shades that are totally alike in these two palettes. So as much as I want to say, if you have this kit, the ABH kit, you don't need the Colourpop one. If you don't have the Colourpop one, you don't need the ABH one. But then again, I think about it and it's like, I mean, for people who are really into highlight and really into makeup, I could definitely see how these kits are totally different. I think they're similar enough that if you missed out on the ABH palette or didn't want to spend the money on it, then this is a great alternative for you. But if you already have this one, I could also see why you wouldn't need this one. If you're really satisfied and you love this kit, you don't need this one. But this is a really great price for a great palette where I could see the subtle differences, especially if you wanted a more, I feel like you could get a more tame highlight out of the Colourpop palette, especially with no glitter in it. So that's what drew me to the Colourpop palette over the ABH palette. So going back and forth, I mean, I think I would reach for them pretty evenly, honestly, because I can tell the differences in all the colors. I do love the price on the Colourpop one. I think it's really, really great that they've offered such a great product at such a great affordable price point. So I definitely think that this is totally worth it if you're looking for a highlighter palette. If I could do it all over again, I would probably still buy both of them because I can tell the difference in the shades. So if you like the glitter and the highly reflective and the metallic, this one's for you. If you like the no glitter, kind of able to build it up, this one's for you. To me personally, a dupe is when you can't tell the difference between the two products. So if you were to swatch them side by side, at least for a color dupe, I feel that to be a true dupe, you really shouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two, or the difference is so subtle that you would never know once you apply it to the face that they're not the same product. So to me, I think these palettes are very similar, especially some of the shades, but I wouldn't call them overall both palettes being dupes for each other. I would definitely say they're very similar, but I wouldn't call it a true duped palette. That's all I have for this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.